All right, all right, all right, gente, familia, comunidad. We're moving forward with our program today. Again, I know you all are in deep philosophical conversations. A colleague and I we used to joke like when you caught us talking in random conversations, we're throwing down what we call double pozo uh, conversations about barbecue, right? And we would call them double pozo frameworks. And it's not enough to have one barbecue pit, especially me being Tejano. It's not enough to have one barbecue pit. You got to have a second barbecue pit. So we started calling our conversations double pozo frameworks in our works and our efforts. But anyway, that's just a side conversation. Um, we want to move on in our conversation today. There's a few things that we, just for the good order, want to talk about and briefly share. And then we have a few award recipients that we're going to acknowledge. We have our books of the year, which is important in our recognition of our both scholars and the scholarship. As always, it's about advancing the work. It's about supporting and growing the work and knowing that this is a big part of what we do and we support. Is it the clicker or is it pause? Oh, there it is. That is I. Um, Although I gotta admit, that's an old photo from my time at Arizona State University, and now I have a new one from my current institution at Western Michigan University. I'm the Associate Provost for Equity-Centered Initiatives and Academic Affairs. It is a long title. My colleague and friend and jefe is the Provost, Julian Vasquez Heilig, who's also sit with us on the board of directors as well. He gets tired after he says equity. He's like, he does our equity work. But yes, I'm blessed to serve here. I do acknowledge that I serve a couple of other capacities nationally. I'm also a commissioner, some of you have heard that, on President Biden's Advisory Commission for Educational Equity, Excellence, and Economic Opportunity for Hispanics. That work, as all things that we do, always intersects, and how we advance our community is critically important. So we had a wonderful conversation yesterday, and I'm always, for me, intrigued as to how I can be strategic in advancing our communities in every space that I exist, right? I'm always going to be who I am as raza, as one who is Tejano, Chicano, the Chicanx identity, the Latinx identity. My community is important to me, my familia, and that's who I am. That's why I'm always constantly reminded that this is about our community and nuestra comunidad. So I'm always blessed to do this work. I am going to be the chair-elect. I mean, I am the chair-elect. I am going to be the chair technically after July 1, but I think usually the symbol is at the end of this conference. It's like we'll launch it out. So you'll hear from me tomorrow. So I'll try to be quick in the next phase. All right. So we want to just share that because this is, for us, this is important to recognize who we are. We met, I feel like we met last summer, but maybe it was right before. I'm looking at Aurora because she's the one who's really good to, even we're constantly looking at this, even as a board of directors, to think about ourselves. We're always a work in progress. We're always intrigued by how do we continue to grow, not just as individuals, but as a community and as an organization. So just as touching base, as a national Latinx, Latino, Latine, and equity-centered higher education association, he engages and aligns with multiple communities, partners, and stakeholders to advance our mission. Partners and collaborators include industry, governmental entities, foundations, Latinx, Latina, Latino, Latine, colleges and universities, nonprofits, and advocacy groups. Our vision. And sometimes it's even more important to think about being reminded of why we're here, right? I look at these things constantly and think about, how do we grow this? How do we evolve this? I believe that as an organization, we have grown and evolved an evolution, right? Quite a bit in the past few years. And I have to thank my colleagues, the rest of the members of the board. And I also have to give recognition to our graduate fellows and our faculty fellows, right? That energy, that creativity, that critical element, my daughters call me out. We all make mistakes. This last weekend, Um, my daughter, my oldest, my 18, she's like, Dad, we have the governor of the Guadalupe tribal community at our working at our high school. And I said, oh, what does he do? Dad, what does she do? Oh man. My other daughter was like, Mr. Associate Provost of Equity. I was like, dang, foot and mouth big time. I was like, okay, I apologize. I messed up. We're always growing, but I appreciate that our early career scholars keep us on our toes. We need that. We appreciate that. I'm one who always like, I tripped up. I made my mistakes. Call me out and allow me to reconcile, allow me to grow. And we're in it together at the end of the day. So I appreciate this. So this vision, as we think about a radical shift in equity policies and leadership among our higher education institutions to effectively address the needs of Latinx, Latina, Latino, Latina communities and empower us to strive for academic success, knowledge production, and artistic creation to advance social change that creates opportunities for all. Did we just kind of, okay, the core values, our mission, right? Vision and mission, that's, I'm throwing off by the words. We prepare, support, and advance Latinx, Latina, Latino, Latinx students, faculty, staff, administrators, and community members through higher education to participate, lead, and influence in our society. Our core values: advocate, engage with equity and justice, prioritize inclusionary praxis. Again, we're constant work in progress. We're growing. We look forward to building our community. We look forward to being spaces of healing. And these are things that we believe in. And these are things that we look at consistently to think about our work, to reflect on our work, to grow and evolve in our work. And that's as much true as an organization as it is as individuals and as a community, right? So these things are important to us. I do want to recognize, can someone take a picture of this? Because I was thinking about this. Our wonderful colleagues at Texas State University as co-sponsors. Oh, Gloria over there repping Texas State. I gotta always give much love to Texas State, and you know, and not just this organization, but in other organizations that I've been part of their governance boards. Consistently, Texas State always sent graduate fellows or nominated scholars from their graduate students for programs, pathways, and inclusion at the professoriate level. Man, Texas State has always showed up. So felicidades y gracias. Lumina Foundation, I got to give props to a wonderful colleague and friend, and as well as former graduate fellow, Jasmine Haywood. And that's why I said, someone take a picture, because I got to send a picture like, hey, we gave props to Lumina. So she's been wonderful in our conversation. I want to recognize Lumina and their support of not just this session, but our conference as well. And you know, they're a foundation, so we want to be good to them. So hopefully they'll get a little bit more money for our work as we give them the love. So thank you, Lumina Foundation. I also want to transition over to our book awards as I started off. I was trying to keep an eye out for our wonderful, amazing colleague, Marisa Vasquez. I think she's an important phone call right now, so we do apologize. She does apologize. But she chaired our wonderful book awards committee. It is not an easy process. It's a lot of effort. It's a lot of reviews. It's kind of like those who are in the dissertation committee as well. You're reading a lot. It's a labor of love, but it's an important labor of love. These are our wonderful, amazing colleagues who sit in the Book of the Year award committees. And so Amanda Corona from University UC San Diego. Do we have Amanda here, or Belia Hernández? If you're here, stand up. From Rutgers University, Gilberto Conchas, where's Hill? I know he was here yesterday. And Reina Garcia Ramos from Pepperdine. We want to thank all of you in the committee to recognize and advance our work as a community. Marisa Vasquez is one who definitely clearly contributes to our community. She's an associate professor out at San Diego State. If you've not read some of her work, we should, as we think about how she's advanced, particularly our what we would call Black and Latino males, communities, and community colleges work, and advancing that space. So recognize her scholarship. And as we do, we should always cite our community members in our work to recognize and advance the recognition process. But she's been critical to advancing this conversation for this year. So we're gonna hit off with our first recognition. I want to look at my notes here. Excuse me. Turn the page. All right. We want to start with our early career category. Why are you always so political? The experiences and resiliences of Mexican-American, Mexican Chicanx, American, I'm sorry, Mexican-American Chicanx students in higher education, 2023, by Alberto Gonzalez, assistant professor at Portland State University. Alberto, all right, there we go. Oh, right there, in the corner. Sí se puede. Alberto, oh man, I like your backdrop. Look at that. You're repping hard. I love it. Alberto, speak to us. You're online. We can hear you. You can hear us?
What's happening? What's happening? ¿Cómo están? How's everybody doing?
Hey, coming through. Speak to us.
Check 1, 2. They didn't give me any. I didn't think I was gonna speak at all. I thought I was gonna show my face and say what's up. My name is not Martin. That's what my mom, Alberto's what my mom calls me when I get in trouble. The travieso in me. But my first name is Martin, and I go by Martin. I appreciate the committee so much. I'm very sad that Doctora Vasquez is not here. She has been supporting my work since I was a doc student. She has been supporting my work, and I'm very grateful for this award. I'm also just very grateful for the committee and this organization for doing the work que vale la pena, right? Doing the work that matters. And it's just an honor. It's an honor. And I do want to mention something that's very, very important. When this book was published, I made a political decision. I made a very political decision, and I decided to not publish this book with any academic press. So this book is not published through an academic press. This book, as a matter of fact, is independently published by me. And that was a very political decision, but I think that it was a very important one. And I feel like this is why I'm extra grateful for AAHHE to select my book, because there were senior scholars who shamed me and said, "You are doing it wrong, Martin. You are doing it wrong. You must be validated by academic presses." And here I am being validated by AAHHE. Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much for choosing an independently published book like mine to give the upcoming scholars some hope that, we could start our own things. We don't have to be validated by senior scholars. You could be validated by those who love you, those who care about your work. So that's, for me, that's what takes it to another level, is the fact that this is independently published. If anybody wants a free copy of my book, go ahead and email me. I will sign your copy and I will send it straight to you. And why can I do that? Because it's independently published. I own all my rights. I own everything. So please, if you are a doctoral student, if you are a graduate student in the audience and you would love a signed copy of my book, email me, Google me, email me, and I will send you a signed copy. I got you. Thank you again. That's all I have. I'm just freestyling. I'm just talking. I didn't have anything. I wasn't sure if I was going to speak anything, but it's a blessing, and I appreciate y'all so much. I'm looking forward to the other awards. Congratulations to everyone, and thank you again for selecting my book. It means a lot to me.
All right. Well, that's it. Hey, I've always thought that some of these awards, we should call them the Orale Awards. You get an Orale for your book, but you get a double Orale for what I call the FUBU concept, forest bias on that publication procedure. I like it. So double orales. All right. Felicidades. Our second book, I sounded very academic. Our second book, Transition, after I dropped some orales. Our second book of the year award is mid-career category, Border Bodies, Racialized Sexuality, Sexual Capital, and Violence in the 19th Century Borderlands, by Bernadine Hernández, Associate Professor at the University of New Mexico. Do we have Bernadine with us? I think we should.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
There you are. We see you and hear you. Bienvenida y felicidades.
Gracias, gracias. Thank you all so much. I'd first like to thank the Association of Hispanics in Higher Education, and especially the Book Awards Committee for reading my book with love and care. I feel so honored to be a part of this group of scholars here today. I'd also like to thank the University of North Carolina Press, and particularly Lucas Church, my editor, for being nothing short of amazing and working with me to make Border Bodies the book that it is today. My mentors and academic friends in all steps of life, Rosada Sanchez, Decia Daman, Melina Vizcaíno Alemán, Emma Perez, Adela Lincona, Viviana McManus, Kara Robal, Anita Huizar Hernández, Suhan Ho, and Vanessa Fonseca. It takes a village to write these types of books. So I just want to thank everybody. My family has supported me unyieldingly through this, the writing of this book. My grandmother passed away 1 month before I defended this dissertation that would eventually become this book. She's a modest cafeteria worker who kept the community kids fed, and so she never made it past the 8th grade. However, she was really the smartest woman that I've ever known. She taught me algebra in high school when every other teacher failed to do so. So she would have really screamed it from the rooftops that her granddaughter wrote a book. So I'd like to thank my father, Antonio Hernández, who is an unwavering force in my life. Bernadine and Hernández, my mother and my namesake. This book is for you. My mother is a beautician, so I was raised right beside her in the beauty salon. I've many times looked up at her and admired her resilience for standing on her feet for over 10 hours a day. All of her friendships, her customers that she loved and confided in, and her discipline. She's woken up for 47 years every day and counting to go make people beautiful. So my feminism really started in her beauty salon. And lastly, I'd like to thank Francisco Galarte, my partner in Love, Life, and Letters. There are volumes of books that could be written about our love. I'm getting a little emotional. So I just want to thank everybody. This is just a great, great honor. Thank you.
Bernadine Hernández, felicidades. You too get an orale, and you two get a double orale because of the Borderlands. I'm from the border. I'm from El Paso, so I'm always a proud Borderland. Me and Gloria and Zaldúa, we hung out, man. That would have been great.
Órale.
But gracias, double orale to you too. Felicidades.
Gracias.
Our next book of the year category, Senior Scholar category, A Place at the Nayarit, How a Mexican Restaurant in Los Angeles Nourished Its Community by Natalia Molina, Distinguished Professor of American Studies and Ethnicity, Dean's Professor of American Studies and Ethnicity from the University of Southern California. Is Natalia also here?
Hi, I'm Natalia.
There, Natalia. Oh, I'm sorry. I kept saying that we had it. My apologies. It is Natalia. Thank you for correcting. My apologies for our mistake.
No problem. Bernadine, no fair to make the person that goes after you cry before they have to say something. So I'm very honored to receive this award, especially to me, it's still mind-blowing to get a Senior Scholar Award when really graduate school doesn't seem that long ago. And that reminded me of what it was like to be in graduate school. I was the 22nd Chicana to receive my PhD in US history. And the Chicanas who came before me, they gathered us at a Knox conference and they actually showed us this handwritten list, numbered list. Dina Gonzalez used to keep the list of who was there. Now we're doing a Smithsonian project on it because now we number over 100. But it just shows you how organizations like this, like all of us doing the kind of work that we do on our campuses, how important it is because, you know, we weren't represented then and we still, our numbers are still low. And so we keep having to fight that fight every day. So belonging to a community, being recognized, feeling seen are profoundly important to me, which is why I honor your organization so much and I value this cool award. One of the most beautiful awards that I've seen. Thank you so much. And like Bernadine, who talked about her mother right now, my book is based on my grandmother's business. I call her and immigrants like her placemakers, and the restaurant that she opened with my mother, Urban Anchors. And that, you know, this award is a recognition of valuing that history. So I'm grateful for the recognition, and I thank you and all of you for the work you're doing for fighting to ensure that all of our voices have a place at the table. Gracias.
Gracias, Natalia Molina. Double orales for bringing the importance of familia and our stories to the center of the work we do and why we do. Thank you for your contribution. And again, double orales for all that you've brought to us and for your continued work. Our next category, and I believe it's our, yes, gotta turn the page. Our last category, well, wrong side, is for Books of the Year edited volumes category. We're blessed to have one of our colleagues here with us who have edited this work. Integrando STEAM, a guide for elementary, bilingual, and dual language programs. As our Secretary Cardona says, bilingual is our superpower, so that's the first orale that you get. And for doing this work as a community and advancing the good work, you get a double orale. Come on up, say a few words, please. Felicidades.
Hi, everyone. Hello, hola. We haven't prepared. We haven't prepared this. We have like 2 online on Zoom and 1 in person, so we'll see how we're gonna do this. Idalis, do you wanna go first?
Yes, absolutely. Buenas tardes. Yo estoy aquí, I'm here in representation of the 3 co-editors, Dr. Maria Luisa Di Stefano from UMass Amherst, Dr. Alberto Xicanx from San Diego State University, and myself from the University of Florida. This book actually came from a conversation originally that I had with Dr. Di Stefano. Just to give you a little bit of a background, I am an engineer by training, and I am one of the few Latina women engineers in the US. And so I grew up as a first-generation student, learning everything from my father, from my mother, from my culture, you know, even like concepts that are cultural and linguistically relevant to me. That's what made me an engineer. And so I was talking to Maria Luisa one day and I said, you know, how can we equip the next generation to know that language and culture is their superpower and that that's what's going to make them successful? And so we started working on this idea together, and then included the brilliant Dr. Alberto Xicanx into the group. And we carried out a professional development program for elementary school teachers in Massachusetts, as well as in Puerto Rico. And this happened during the time of Hurricane Maria. So I am from Puerto Rico, and you know, my family was impacted by that, but one of the most impacted populations were the kids and the teachers. There was a big migration, a loss of educational opportunities for a lot of these individuals. And so we carried out this in a labor of love, working with them online. It was the strangest thing ever, but helping them understand, the teachers, and empowering them to know, you are the ones that will train this next generation. You will empower them and motivate them to that next level. So the book is really a compilation, not just of the things that we learned during that professional development experience, but it's a co-edited book and written with the teachers themselves. So the teachers had a voice and an opportunity to share some of the content learned. So I'm just so delighted to be here, and I'll leave now some space for Dr. Di Stefano and Dr. Xicanx to say a few words.
Thank you, Dalis. I will be very brief. First of all, I wanted to thank you and Alberto for believing in this project. I'm the especially when we started collaborating, I was the most junior person on the team, and I felt that guidance and leading, you know, from 2 more senior scholars that were, you know, took me under their wings, and that was very, very important for me. Así que la familia, pero también esa guía, ese ejemplo que me dieron, para mí fue muy importante. So thank you, first of all. Gracias a ustedes, primero que todo. Segundo, en la editorial, so we want to thank also, I wanted to thank Velázquez Press. There is a small company, and we wanted to work with a company that really reached to the teachers So we wanted to have an impact on the field in that sense, like to reach to the teachers, being able to be read by the people that really need this work to be done, and understand that we are supporting them. So Arthur Cho and the Velasquez Press. I also wanted to thank the scholars that read this book in advance to give us some feedback, but also to endorse that. And they Silvia Celedon Paticis, Michael Guerrero, and Wayne Wright, who were supporting us in the early stages. And also want to thank Manny Uribe, who created the artwork that graces our book cover. We really wanted to transmit the idea, to picture, to visualize the idea that STEM and STEAM is not only the crazy science person with a white coat in a lab, but comes from our heritage, from what we know, what our ancestors know, and that is part of our scientific knowledge, our engineering, our practices, our art, and everything else. So Manny was really was able to convey that idea in the picture, in the book, in the front, the cover. So gracias Alberto for working with Manny to convey that idea. So gracias. It's really beautiful. Yeah, I've never seen anything like this. Thank you. Gracias.
Alberto?
Yes, apologies for the if there's background noise. I just want to really mention that I am so honored to have colleagues like Maria Luisa and like Idalis, who really were leading this project. So grateful to you. Thank you so much.
Let's give them a big hand. And a double. We can do better. Come on, once more. And a. Órale, felicidades. Oh, picture time, picture time. Who's got the good, or shall we move over here? Let's move over here.
Yeah.
Gracias. All right. Felicidades, congratulations to all of our Book of the Year awardees. Let's give them a big órale and an applause. All right, so we can transition with a little bit of time. Just making a few housekeeping announcements for the rest of the day. I'm going to invite my colleague to make her way up here as I talk about 6:15. We have the networking mixer and poster session, art gallery tours, and the Homes Lounge is where, oh, wonderful. We'll be in the Homes Lounge, and then I think my colleague here, Aurora, can talk about where the Homes Lounge is, and then also highlight our Kemper Art Gallery tour as well at 6:30, and our movie screening. Make sure you make an effort to attend at least one of these. Movie screening, Smile for Kime in Simon Hall with Dr. Elena Guzman. Doctora, you want to tell us a little bit about any of these and their location?
Sure. Felicidades to all of the book award winners. I always leave this feeling like, ooh, I want to go read more books. So very exciting work. We have a little bit of time between now and 2:30 when the next concurrent session begins. So luckily the weather is back to the request that we had, which is beautiful. It might even be a little warm. So we encourage you to attend. There's 3 sessions of concurrent sessions before our evening opportunities. There are a few slots. Let me see this way. Nope. I'm going to go back to the QR code in case anyone. Oh, okay. Okay, we'll bring up the slide deck in a quick minute. There's a few spots left for the Kemper tour, the Kemper Art Museum, for the English tour. So if you're still interested, please register as soon as possible. because the slots are filling up. It should be a really beautiful tour of the artwork that's been specially curated for our group. That will be in the Kemper Museum. We'll have staff that are going to walk with us from Holmes Lounge to the Kemper. Now, where is Holmes Lounge? Instead of me trying to like visually walk you through, I'm just going to say we will have staff that are going to guide us from Simon over to Holmes Lounge. It's behind the chapel in that direction. So just so you know, there are also digital maps of our campus if you'd like to venture over there yourself. But if you would like to walk over with us, just meet after the concurrent session and we will walk over together to Holmes Lounge. And then from there, Simon is the same location where we've had our plenary sessions. So it'll be in that same lecture hall where the film screening will take place. And if you have any questions, please stop me or any of our conference staff. We're all more than happy to guide you or help answer any questions. So I encourage you to keep enjoying each other, enjoying great conversations, and to enjoy a nice walk back over to Simon to keep learning in community. Enjoy.
All right, let's give her an orale all together. Orale. Orale. Oh, this might work. Thank you all for continuing our community, building our community, supporting and growing and healing our community. We look forward to seeing you for the rest of the day. We have time to network. We have time to do what you need to do as we transition to our next time. Thank you all, and we'll see you throughout the day.